Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another edition here of Middle Mondays. Thanks a lot for making a little bit of time to watch the video, and just welcome back to the club, man. You guys that watch Middle Mondays, you know the drill, what's going on here. If you guys are not familiar with Middle Mondays, it's something that we do every Monday. It's a little departure from the normal fishing videos, and it's just a time where I sort of give you guys some of my opinions on a wide range of topics out there, sort of stimulate some thought, that type of thing. So welcome if it's your first time, and welcome back if you're a regular too. Much appreciated. Today I want to talk a little bit about the topic of love, not in the romantic sense that we're talking about here. I wanted to talk about the power of love on a couple of different levels with that. What that means, what that has really meant to me throughout my lifetime of searching and researching philosophies, researching different points of view, belief systems, that type of stuff, and just wanted to pass that along a little bit there. But the love that I'm talking about here is that, there's most people, they consider love as like, the some type of stereotypical romantic love between, two people or whatever like that. And that is a very powerful form of love right there. It's a little bit different than what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about specifically is the power of love to manifest things in your life that you want to experience. One of the things that I can tell you guys from fishing professionally for a living, it's been a really good avenue for me to see what that means as far as manifesting physically things that you want to happen from the point of just a pure love for something. And in fishing, for example, ever since I was a little kid, I love to fish. I mean, it's just something that I just love to do. It made me feel alive, made me feel happy. I look forward to it all the time. There was something magical about it, as far back as I can remember. And as I got older in my fishing, so when I got into like a teenager and that type of stuff, and started reading more fishing magazines, I became aware of the fact that I really wanted to fish professionally. I wanted to be a professional bass fisherman. And I had so many things going against me in order to do that. Number one, I didn't have anyone to teach me about fishing. My dad, he fished some, but not very much. He crappie fished some. He'd go fishing a couple times a year, or he'd crappie fish off a dock. So I didn't have like somebody that could teach me how to bass fish. On top of that, I didn't have any money starting out, to fund me for fishing. So I had to overcome that aspect too. And I just didn't know much about it, but I did love it. Even though I had that stuff going against me, as far as pointing towards the future of a tournament angler, I had this intense love for fishing and tournament fishing and the idea of tournament fishing. I had this desire and this passion behind it. And what happened is that, and I didn't realize this until afterwards, until maybe 20 years ago, looking back on everything, is every single year, as the years went by, when I was in my late teens and my 20s, things started to fall in place out of nowhere. It's just like people would appear in my life, or opportunities would appear in my life, things would happen in my life that got me closer and closer to becoming a professional angler. And I'll give you guys here's a prime example right here. The first year that I fished my first draw circuit tournaments was in 1984, and I fished the Redman tournament circuits, it's now the BFLs. It used to be called the Redman. I didn't know much about fishing. I fished and I had a boat, but I was still super green. And out of just pure luck, I qualified for the regional, which is like the BFL regional, which was on Kentucky Lake. And I'd never been to Kentucky Lake before, never seen it before. First day of the tournament, I caught one fish in the regional. There's 140 guys in the regional, and they take the top 6 to the All-American, the BFL All-American. Second day of the tournament, it was like 10 o'clock in the afternoon, or 10 o'clock in the morning, and I weighed in like at 3 o'clock, and I didn't have a fish in the boat. So I was in this one creek I didn't know anything about, and I said, I got nothing to lose. I'm just going to go to this back as far as I can get up the back of this creek and start fishing. And I got as far as I could back up in this creek, and I had a jig, 30-pound test line flipping stick on. I just started pitching these laydowns, and I caught a 6-pounder, a 4-pounder, and a 5-pounder the last hour of the tournament. And to make a long story short, I qualified for the All-American down at Lake Toho in Florida, excuse me, which Shaw Grigsby won that tournament. And that particular tournament got me a sponsorship from Ranger Boats at the time, and it propelled me into fishing the Bassmaster tournament circuit the next year. And that's the type of stuff that kept happening throughout my career. It's like when I got to the point where I was, broke and out of money, something always happened. That's what happened when I won my first Bassmaster tournament in 1989. I was basically broke, and I went to the first tournament of the year at Bugs Island and won the tournament and won $50,000, kept me in it. And this stuff happened throughout my course of my career. And so to make a long story short, the incredible thing about the universe here is the power of love. If you love something if you love something from a part of your being, excuse me, guys. If you love something from a part of your being that is deep and is internal, it's like there's a mysterious, magical force within the universe that helps manifest that into physical existence. It's almost like your thoughts and your intentions and your desires, they create your own reality. They manifest reality physically for you. And this is an ability that every single one of us has. I mean, and I've seen it over and over again. And it doesn't just work for the good, it works for the bad too. If you're somebody that's focused on sickness and limitation and being broke all the time, and you focus on that all the time, that's probably going to be your reality, and vice versa. So it's almost like you have to realize that your thoughts are powerful. Your thoughts and your intentions and your desires are powerful to manifest the life that you want to have with you. Now, I know a lot of this is like, this is one point of view that I've experienced for myself. A lot of people may or may not agree with what I just said based upon your belief systems. Some people, there's two different camps as far as in the human existence. You got one camp that their worldview and their belief systems come from like a religious background, and somebody else may have like a spiritual background. Somebody else may have a secular background. And if you're from a religious background, you've got a strict, rigid idea, and people tell you this is the way it is, books tell you this is the way it is. And whatever religion you're in, there's countless religions across the world, but they think that every religion I've ever seen, they think that they're right and everybody else is wrong. And then if you're spiritual, a lot of people are a little bit more open-minded to, different things, maybe accept the fact that life is a mystery that nobody can explain. And then if you're secular, it just may be something about random chaos in the universe. So everybody comes from a different point of view as far as how they approach this. But one of the things that I have found in my own life, and I've studied so many different philosophies and religions and belief systems, it's sort of like I've been fascinated by it. One of the things that I have found true for myself is that if whatever somebody tells you or you read or your experience or whatever like that, if you can't prove that true for yourself, and if you can't get reproducible results from that, it's very hard to have confidence in that belief system. If somebody tells you, okay, you need to believe this is the way it is, and there's no other way, if that doesn't resonate internally with the love that you are and the soul within inside of you, there's nothing you can do to make you feel that. There's almost like a hollowness to that. But if somebody gives you an idea or a concept and say, hey, have you ever considered this? And you take it out and you try it, and it works for you, and you can have reproducible results with this particular, viewpoint, that gives you a tremendous amount of confidence on a spiritual level to empower yourself. And that's one of the truisms that I found as far as in the reality we find ourselves here more than anything else. Another thing is I'm not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't believe. Nobody should impose their belief systems or the way that they think on somebody else. That's just not right. That takes away your individuality, your freedom, all that type of stuff, especially when they're trying to impose their belief systems on you and make laws out of that or make legislation from it. That's un-American. So I think it's very important for every single one of us to respect other people in how they view reality, how they view the world, their worldview, even if you don't agree with it. It's like, give them a space. It's like, if somebody wants to believe the world's flat, more power to them. Let them do that. I mean, it's just, that's everybody has the right to their own way of thinking with that. So the common thread that I wanted to get there, and the point of this whole video, we're talking about love, is that don't sell yourself short with that. It's like, don't sell yourself short that you don't have the ability to form the life that you want to lead to some extent. Now, there's obviously, if you're disabled or something, or you've had some type of a situation where you can't run, obviously you're not going to win the Boston Marathon. But there are situations within everybody's circumstance in life where you can maximize and live the happiest, fullest life to your potential, simply by just what I was just telling you there. But the common thread of everything, guys, I know that we have, for some reason, we've entered a period on this planet, the country in particular, where we're so polarized from our belief systems, whether it be religious, politically, ways of thinking, all that type of stuff. Excuse me, have this still got the sinus congestion I'm dealing with, but everybody knows how polarized we are right now. But the one common thread that we all have to pull back to and realize, your neighbor may be completely the polar opposite in how you believe, and you may feel some type of anger or animosity towards that person. You just have to realize that everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to live up to their fullest potential. Everybody wants joy in their life. Everybody wants to love and to be loved. We're all the same, man. It's like, that's the only thing that's important. So, if you find yourself railing against somebody else because the way they believe, or if they tell you something that threatens your way of thinking or your belief system, just approach it from the point of love, man. Just approach it from the point of kindness and compassion and understanding and love. And you can never go wrong with that. I don't care what your situation is or what you're doing in life. And I think we lose sight of that far too much. But anyway, point of the video, guys, before I get too far out in left field with this, is that it's been my experience through fishing that every single one of us has the power to form our own reality to some extent through our thoughts, through our intentions, through our desires. So discipline your thoughts. If you find yourself thinking negatively, or if you find yourself thinking with limitations, catch that and turn it around. Replace that thought immediately with something that's positive. And if you do this over and over again, and you catch yourself anytime you fall into the trap of negativity within your own life, you will see a vast improvement in the quality of your life on a lot of different levels. Not to say it's easy, because it's not easy. Nobody's mastered it that I've ever seen like that. Maybe if you're some monk sitting on a mountaintop, possibly, but when you're dealing with having to pay bills and dealing with kids and dealing with your job and all that type of stuff, it's a tremendous strain on everybody, but we're all doing the best we can out here. So anyway, guys, just sort of a wide-ranging conversation there. Thanks for tuning in, much appreciated, and we'll be back next week with another Mental Monday. See you guys.